Hi, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, depending upon where you're joining me from. Today, we're going to be talking about a good leader and a not so good leader. Well, I rather not say bad leader today. The reason leadership is needed these days more than ever is because of state of the world we are in, state of the environment we are in all around us. I'm sure all of you know about, I have mentioned many times about the number of companies which fail before we see a successful startup out of many that get founded on a daily basis. But did you know that even the most established companies, they have a limited time, they have a limited time that they can stay alive for? This morning I was remembering some companies that I used to do business with or I used to know in America when I came here in 30 years ago. Number one computer company those days was called Compaq Computers. It doesn't exist anymore. Number three or four was Digital Computers. Again, doesn't exist anymore. Like that, I can go on and on. There are a number of companies which used to be there during those days which are not in existence. What happened? What happened to those companies and what happens to the company that stays forever? Like Microsoft. It was there at that time, continues to be there. Now, today we see Google, Facebook, and all those things. Would they be around for 10, 20 years from now? We don't know. Apple was there at that time, still there today. Now, you see, look at Apple and Microsoft. What do you see different in those companies than in other companies? Well, the answer is the topic of today's talk: great leadership. These companies, even though they faltered at times, they came back up again with more vengeance, with more strength, because of better leadership, because they chose better leaders to take them to the future generation or future era of technology than the previous generations could. And that does tell you, if you look at these two as case studies, that pretty much answers all the questions about leadership. But let's go through some specific things about leadership today. And I think we do have some questions. Now, one question comes is, how do I know if I have leadership qualities? Now, often people think of leadership as a rank. To me, leadership is not a rank, it's an ability. In fact, in some of my earlier talks, I have mentioned a good leader should be able to lead a good life. How you lead your life, whether you are a manager at work or not, or whether you have a bunch of people in your charge or not, that itself will tell you whether you have leadership qualities or not. How well you're leading number one thing I kind of mentioned earlier: do you have tendency to blame everybody else or everything else for lack of success in your life, or lack of not being able to get what you want to get? Let's not even talk about success. You want to have a better car, you're not able to get, and you start blaming the EMI business and the car manufacturers, your workplace, your parents, your spouse, your children, your landlord. You can start blaming others. That is not a good leadership quality, as an example. So, are you able to take responsibility for your own actions in your life? Number one, leadership quality. Number two, I would say, is, are you able to take care of others who are in your charge? Now, often people think, I'm in charge. Leader means I'm in charge. No, you have to take care of people who are in your charge, whether it could be your children, your spouse, your friends, your neighbors, your people in your office. What it could be all of them, some of them, either of them. So, are you able to do that? If you are, you're a good leader. Taking responsibility for your own actions, taking responsibility for people in your charge, two great leadership qualities. Let's go to the next question. how can I develop a leadership personality? I think it starts with taking responsibility for your own self. If you feel you're responsible for your own actions, your own life, as I said, I think then, you know, you definitely can develop. Now, number one thing about that is be honest about your abilities, be caring and encouraging. Caring because, as I mentioned, you have to take care of people who are in your charge. So be caring, that's a very, very good quality to develop. And be encouraging. A bad leader, they say, is the person who wants to hold everything to him or herself and not share things with others. I mean, if you are encouraging to others of theirs action, encourage them to perform to the best of their ability, yes, you can develop leadership personality. And be inspiring. One of the best definition of any good leader I have, or great leader I have, is he is the most inspirational. He gets the best out of people. I mean, a person who is able to get best out of people around him or her is the best leader, whether those people are under his charge or not. In fact, I'll even go to that extent. And of course, be confident in your own existence, in your own skin, as we say, and share the praise, or share whatever you get in your life, whether it be praise for good work or good deeds and all that. It's not just you, but the people who work around you, who make you better. I hope I have answered your question. Let's go to the next one. What is the difference between a good leader and a great leader? Well, I think some of those things we have already been discussed. We have already been discussing. As I said, to me, a great leader is the one who inspires people. A good leader will set goals, and a great leader will come up with that great vision, that unique vision that inspires people. That is a difference. That's the same difference we say about a manager and a leader. Manager manages people. So let's say he's a good leader. A great leader inspires people. Regular leaders are optimistic about the future, whereas great leaders know how to cultivate optimism in others. They are more realistic in one way, but they at the same time they can create that that habit of being optimistic, inspirational in the life of others who work around them. They say the regular leaders, or a good leader or a manager, will work within the status quo, whereas great leaders will help you think outside the box. They themselves will think outside the box, and they will help you think outside the box as well. And most importantly, they will get the best out of you, get best out of everyone who works with them and works around them. And a good leader will have some commitments that he has made, and he'll make all of you or everyone who works with them work towards those commitments. And a great leader, that's the final one I'll say, is the one with great heart. He is the one who inspires people, who motivates people, who gets the best out of people, not because he knows he knows how to do it, what to do, what code to write, or what buttons to press. No, but because he himself or herself has a great heart, and that heart touches others. Often I think about this term B2B. People talk about business to business, right? To me, in leadership, we talk about H to H, human to human, or heart to heart. Great leader is the one who has perfected the art of H to H. Hope you all remember that. Let's go to the next one. What challenges will I face if I become a leader? Well, as we've been discussing, that you will be taking care of people in your charge. So, they say, I think there's a saying from Bible, the heavy is the crown that we, no, sorry, the, I forgot that saying. um, Heavy is the head that wears the crown, or something like that. I mean, with leadership comes great responsibility of people who are in your charge. So you will face challenges. You will face at times challenges because people are, let's say somebody is not well. I mean, last 1.5 years, many of us have faced this challenge of people facing COVID, their family members facing problems, or not, they not being able to support themselves or support their families and things like that, uh, whether monetarily or otherwise. Some people lost their near and dear ones. So they say the real test of leader comes when the people in their charge have difficult times, how well they perform at that time. Hey man, you should show up at work tomorrow. What is this? I have some schedule to meet. You're not a good leader. So you will face challenges, but at the same time, I mean, you may tell that to your employees who are working with you, but what are you going to tell the customer who also has commitments to his clients? So you have to manage all that. So they say that, it is you have to be able to deal with the pressure and the stress that comes along with managing people. And at times, I mean, it is easier to say that you can be caring and accommodating and all that, but at times, we all know that we have difficult people to deal with, and how well you deal with those people, it's very, very important. And I think that's these challenges you will be facing on a regular basis if you're a leader. Let's go to the next one. As a leader, I feel my team is distant from me. How can I bridge the gap between me and my employees? Well, the fact that you're feeling this gap shows there is a gap. I think, as I said, heart to heart, have open discussion with them. Nothing replaces a intimate, deeper conversation with your employees. At the end of the day, everybody is a human being. I should share this with you. I have done some venture funded companies where we used to have a board where these people are, I mean, managing millions of dollars, and they fund your company with millions of dollars. And we used to have respectable distance with these people. But there was a time where I felt a shift in myself. I felt, after all, these guys are also human beings. They also have to respond to their partners or people whose money they are managing. And I see that more now when I am on this side of the table, where I give my money to some funds, and I do call them sometimes, hey, how's my money doing? But point I'm making is, at the end of the day, high or low, employee or boss, VC partner or CEO or VP or manager or a new joiners, everybody is a human being. Everybody has the same heart, or if you can go to the same blood that flows in their veins. If you have the ability to speak to their heart, connect to their heart, you can bridge any gap that may exist between two human beings. I hope you can follow this, not just for your employees, but for anything, for your spouses, for your children, for people next door to you, and your employees as well. Let's go to the next one. What qualities make a leader bad? Know it all. There are people we all come across in life. They behave, they act, they think they are know it all. First sign of bad leader. Not transparent. Some people say they lie a lot, they this. I would say not transparent with you all the time or most of the time. That's the other sign. And most importantly, they lack heart. They lack heart, do not have ability to connect with the people who work around them. And then they don't own up. As I mentioned, the victim mentality. And victim mentality you can get rid of if you learn to own up or take responsibility for things that you couldn't do in time. Even if people under you couldn't do the work well, as a leader, it's your responsibility at the end of the day. Are you willing to own up? Or you want to, oh, this guy did bad. Oh, this guy doesn't, do good work. Bad leader. People in your charge are your responsibility. You're responsible for your own actions as well as the actions of people who work for you. A good leader will do that. So, hope that gives you enough what qualities not to have. As a successful entrepreneur, what leadership tips would you like to share from your personal experience? I think I just a few minutes ago I shared something. The most important thing I learned was that everybody is a human being, and they are trying to act within the frame of reference they have they grew up in, and over their growing up years they have formed around themselves, whether it be an employee, whether it be a peer, a management team member reporting to you. We all are, if I may say so, in some way victim of our own circumstances. I wish we were all given manuals when we were born how to lead our life. No, all that comes as we grow up, things that we learn, things that we see. So we are limited by that, if I may say so. So if you can comprehend that it's not the person who's bad, or it's not the person who's good, same way, it is his circumstances, it's what his perspective that of course he got through his circumstances, that helps you move away from the person to actually the situation. So you can actually, once you understand this, comprehend this perspective, you're able to connect to their heart with the understanding of that situation they're coming from. And that, I think, is the best leadership tip I can give to anyone. Edge to edge, learn or try to attempt to connect to people's heart, and that you can do only if you're able to appreciate the perspective they're bringing, the the perspective that they have gathered through their upbringing, through the situations they have lived their life through, and you have more appreciation for them. Let's go to the next one. I think there are some questions on the side. How do you expect to take care of bad leaders? Well, I think you have to take you know I won't call it bad leaders, but the people who work around you, who are yet to learn the qualities of good leadership. And I know this question has come from someone who's experienced a case of a bad employee in around them. So I would say first, try with patience, try to appreciate where they're coming from. Hopefully you can connect to their heart, right? Their heart at their level. Often these qualities of bad leadership, or the things that I mentioned about signs of bad leadership, I won't call it quality because those are not qualities. Signs of bad leadership: the person not being transparent, acting know it all, lacking heart, not taking responsibility. If you see these qualities these signs that I mentioned about being a bad leader, they are a result of some insecurity in that person. If you can help him or her being secure in his or her environment, hopefully, as a leader yourself, you can help him or her bring the best out of that person. Hope that if you can listen to that few times, and you will comprehend what I'm trying to say, and I think that'll help you. Make him comfortable in what he or she is trying to do or is doing. I think then You will see that, I mean, that therein lies your ability to bring best in him or her, right? Your ability to bring the best out of that person lies in your ability to give him a feeling of comfort, feeling of security. And that is your leadership quality. Okay, let's go to the next one. How long are you willing to fall at this job before you succeed? Well, as long as it takes. Is there a timeline for, I mean, in a work environment, yes, you can always fire someone, right? I mean, the person is not working out, you gave him few chances, and then you said, okay, you can do that. Can you say do the same thing in your life? What if you have a child who is not behaving well? Can you say that, oh, well, I will give 10 years, after that, throw him out? No. What if you have bad spouse? Of course, these days, divorces are on rise everywhere in the world, including India, right? But still, I would say, give it. I mean, we all have in us ability to transform only if we can get the right environment. As I said, people are not bad. It is the circumstances that bring the bad things in them. Hope that helps you. When you are on the field working, it is very difficult to analyze whether the path I am taking is right as a leader or not. How do I know if what I am doing or have done is good as a leader? That's a very good question, and you know, I was just sharing this with somebody earlier today. Philosophically speaking, what is good or bad? What is right or wrong? They say there is nothing right or wrong. Thinking makes it so. So goes the quote from some great person. What is right or wrong? I mean, some people say society tells you this is right, this is wrong. Your boss tells you this is right, this is wrong. Somebody else, your parents tell you. I mean, we are being told right or wrong all the time. If only we had that ability in us to discern good from bad, right from wrong, and that's where developing your heart comes in. So I was sharing with this person that my mentor once shared with me that once you're on the North Pole, you can only go south, and wherever you go will become south, isn't it? Think about it. If you're on North Pole, wherever you go, it will be south. No, you can't go anywhere but south. So same way, if your heart, your inner ability to discern what is right for you at this point in time, that inner ability develops, then you would know what you're doing is good or bad. And it may not be good for somebody else, but it's good for you, right for you at this point in time. And that's where, to me, sign of a good leader comes. Again, I will refer to H2H. Develop your ability to read your heart first, then you can read others' ability, or your ability to read others' heart. I'll repeat it again. First, develop your ability to read your heart, and then that will help you develop the ability to read others' heart, so you can touch their heart, you can talk to them at the level of their heart. Hope that helps you. What was a difficult decision you had to make as a leader, and how did you come to that decision? Very good question and very personal one. I mean, there have been many for that matter. I mean, first, I mean, without going into the specifics, there were challenging decisions I had to take myself in my life. How, when I left a company, or when I decided to sell a company, or and these are all difficult decisions. And I think somewhere I felt in my heart, I would say, that I think, as somebody was asking how much time you give it, I mean, you give it some time, and then be patient, you keep waiting for the right time, right moment for it to change, things to change. If they don't change, people don't change, I mean, there's only so much patience we have as individuals, as human beings. So we do give up, or your heart gives you a signal, maybe this is the time. Especially in entrepreneurial journey, I also am very fond of this fail fast strategy, that I think if this is not meant to be fail fast, get out quick. And because you can spend your time and energy in something else. So you may have to not take everything in the proper context, because when I say there's no timeline that is for children, family, and all that, but when it comes to business, which is or work or job and all that, I always am fond of fail fast. If it's not meant to be, fail fast, get out. you know so it is so I have had to take decisions like that many times as leader. And on a regular basis, we have to switch things from one person to another person, responsibility. You have to promote somebody, demote somebody. I mean, those kind of things happen. And you do you no decision is easy, but at times you feel in your heart that person will be able to comprehend sooner or later that whatever decision you made was the right one. you know I think it's that's I think that confidence or that feeling within you comes that this decision eventually will prove to be a right one, and you move forward with it. And difficult decisions always require that confidence or that ability in you to be able to feel that sense of confidence in you, to be able to move forward. Let's go to the next one. Yes, great leaders sacrifice a lot. They do sacrifice a lot. But, if you do, we sacrifice every time we breathe? Do we sacrifice something every time we eat? At microbe level, perhaps we do. I mean, right? Some people say that certain microbes you inhale and they die and all that stuff. I mean, you do. So, why I'm mentioning breathing and eating and all those things is, if it is a natural quality in you, you don't think of it as a sacrifice. That's what you are. Caring for others, that's what you are. You do care for others. You can't be anything but caring for others. That's the innate quality in you. Quality of a leader, as we say, caring for others. So that's an innate quality in you, and you don't think of it as a sacrifice. You don't think that you have to make a choice. Do I do this or do I do that? Well, that's natural to you. It's a natural ability in you. That's why they say some people are natural leaders. They have that quality of caring for others. They have that quality in them to be, one of the things I always thought, a good leader is always a good parent. Parenting does, many of you who are parents would appreciate what I'm saying, going to say now, that a good parent is always a good leader, because he's taking care of people, in charge of them, right? Isn't it? So he is a good parent, or like being a good parent. Now somebody may say, I'm not a good parent. I mean, or somebody, we may think somebody is not a good parent. But if a person is a good parent, he has all it takes to be a great leader, because he doesn't try to hog the limelight. He doesn't need to keep everything to himself or herself. He has to share the praise, share the whatever he gets with family, with people who work under him or around him. So a good leader, good leadership to me is like good parenting. You have to love the people. You have to connect to the people who work with you at the level of their heart. Let's go to the next one. Share about your time you struggled with work life balance, and how did you come up with the same? I mean, yeah, it has not always been. Even now, I mean, there are always challenges that you. I wouldn't say that it is natural that, oh, you have this balance built into you. No, nothing comes naturally, and I think you have to work towards it in that case. And so I have had to do work on my life, and it is mainly. I mean, if I think this person is asking, share your time and you struggle. I mean, specific thing. Yeah, I mean, what comes to mind is I had a personal event in my life, in I think it was a long time ago, 1995 here, and my work required me to be in Japan for a few days to conduct or to launch our products in Japan. And So I refused to go, and my boss was trying to convince me, and finally I did go. But I, really kind of made sure that I come back in 3 days, and I did miss part of the event. I mean, these kind of things happen. I think these happen, and at times you have to take care of both. And most recently, I think it was my nephew's wedding in Delhi, and uh, I mean, as Delhi weddings go, the real wedding ceremony is in the middle of the night, and as it was going on, I had to leave and go to Chennai for work. And I think people realized that there's one baby here who got married, and his marriage got over, and now I'm going to take care of the other baby in which is the company. And so these kind of things, I think you somewhere you rationalize in your mind, and I think you find a good balance there, and you learn every time, and you realize that the struggle reduces over time once you try to rationalize these decisions. So I think that brings us to the end of the session. And I really appreciate all of you joining me today, and hope you got something out of it. Look forward to seeing you again. Till next time. Thank you.